All right, gang, we're going to continue with our discovery right now as we are just getting better and faster at recognizing and answering questions that relate to antenna. So we're going to look at some radiation patterns right now. And what we want to know is, all right, what kind of antenna are we dealing with and how would we use it, right? What would be the way to use that particular antenna? So here's our first example. We'll take a look at this radiation pattern. And here's some questions. Pause your camera, or pause your video, I should say, and we'll take a look together. All right, so first thing, what type of antenna does this pattern represent? Well, notice first, take a look at the azimuth plane, right? And see how it's basically a nice big bubble, nice and evenly distributed, omnidirectional all the way. So that part was pretty easy. Now, what about what type of omnidirectional? Well, that one, it's a little harder, but I want you to notice this kind of classic dual configuration here, this kind of footprint it almost looks like that you see there. That shows us something, that, a situation where I'm working with a dual omni antenna. It's classic dipole configuration. So, all right, so it's dual. What type of antenna, when would I use this? What would it be best for? Well, again, this is omnidirectional, but it's big omnidirectional. This is a big, beefy antenna that's designed to be able to radiate that signal at a higher strength. So although it's a bubble, it's still a bubble that is going to go farther. So I'm thinking, more like a big warehouse, something along those lines. And then how would you position this type of antenna? This guy's really designed to mount well to a pillar, something like that, where it can just be in a great position to spread out and often get over some of the things that are around it, but still have the coverage that it needs. All right, let's take a look at another one. All right, so here's a radiation pattern. Here are the questions. Freeze your video, and then we'll take a look at the answers. Okay, so what type of antenna does this represent? Again, instead of overlapping, we've got the H and E planes separated out. Again, they did that as a nicety since they look very similar. Notice how very specific this is. This has a very sharp pointing face here, and a little bit of a butterfly effect there in the background. So it's definitely a directional antenna. The strength of that looks to me like a parabolic antenna. It really does. So that's our very strong signal going a long distance. So again, when would I like to use that? That's great for point-to-point links, right? Connecting buildings together, that sort of thing. And how would I position something like that? Well, that's going on the rooftop, right? If that's a parabolic antenna, we're typically going to position those externally. So there you go, directional antenna. All right, one more radiation pattern. Take a look at this guy. Here are the questions. Freeze your video, and we'll take a look at the answers. Okay, so in this scenario, we see once again a beautiful omnidirectional bubble of radiation signal coming out from our antenna. So, all right, definitely omnidirectional. But from this point, all right, this radiation pattern on the vertical, not as squashed. So rather than the dual, this looks like a very standard omnidirectional antenna, kind of just your looks like one of these, right? A very standard interior omnidirectional antenna from this point. So when would I use one of those? Well, it's, you position it in a room, in a conference room, something like that, where it's easy access for everyone, just kind of in a bubble around where that antenna is positioned. So where might I want that one? On a mast, on a rooftop, or on the ceiling? This one might be a good one for a ceiling mount. Again, just kind of positioned over everyone. It's not in the way. You don't have to move anything. It's not going to get bumped, and nobody's going to mess with the antenna, which is a good thing. Just hanging down from the ceiling so that everyone can reach it. Again, as long as it's vertical or its vertical access is consistent, we're fine. Remember, that's great for an antenna. We just don't want it angled like this. And that is what would give us problems. All right, so there's our official answers. Looking good. Great. So Thank you for working through that with us. Again, the whole purpose of this discovery gets you faster, gets you in the mindset of some of the things that you might see. If I was taking a certification exam, I would definitely want to go back through any of these discoveries and make sure that I was quick and confident with all my answers on them.